Camels often dominate confrontations against horses, wolves, and even giraffes. These surprising encounters reveal why these seemingly peaceful creatures command so much respect, combining exceptional strength with tactical intelligence in ways few animals can match, which is exactly what we're about to see today. Let's start with the tense confrontation that erupted when a horse and camel squared off in an impromptu arena. Initial provocations quickly escalated when the camel displayed unexpected aggression, its towering height and powerful frame creating an intimidating presence. The camel's violent response caught the horse off guard, transforming its initial bravado into visible panic. Despite horses' natural pride and fighting capability, the camel's superior size and aggressive displays proved overwhelming. The horse's body language shifted dramatically, nearly buckling under the psychological pressure of the confrontation. Recognizing the futility of engaging such a formidable opponent, the horse abandoned any thought of combat. The horse made a tactical withdrawal, choosing self-preservation over pride. A foolhardy donkey learned a harsh lesson after picking the wrong fight with a desert giant here. Strutting into the camel's space with typical stubborn swagger, the donkey's challenge met an explosive response that no one expected. The moment the camel reared up, unleashing its full height and fury, the donkey's tough guy act vanished. One aggressive lunge from the towering beast allowed it to bite the donkey and lift it off of the ground, slamming it down multiple times. No amount of famous donkey stubbornness could stand against the raw power display. The camel's deep bellows and threatening moves had the smaller animal practically tripping over its own hooves to escape. Its fighting spirit broke completely when the camel took one massive step forward. The encounter ended as quickly as it began, with the humbled donkey limping away humiliated. Fatal miscalculation played out when a goat challenged a giant camel in an open field here. The initial standoff featured intense staring, with the goat backing up to launch what it believed would be a devastating charge. The goat's attack, executed with all its might, barely registered as an annoyance to the massive camel. However, this bold move triggered a lethal response. The camel's patience snapped instantly, its powerful jaws clamping down on the goat's backside with crushing force. Like a ragdoll, the goat found itself hoisted and shaken violently in the air, completely helpless in the camel's grip. The camel's response proved brutally efficient, its bite force and violent shaking inflicting catastrophic damage on its smaller challenger. The brief but violent encounter left the goat critically wounded, demonstrating why size differences matter in animal confrontations. Desert drama unfolded when hungry wolves targeted a Bactrian camel here, beginning with a lone wolf testing its defenses through circular harassment. The camel responded with aggressive warnings, and when the wolf ventured too close, the camel's powerful kick sent a clear message about the risks of direct engagement. However, the arrival of additional wolves shifted the dynamic, their increasing numbers emboldening the pack to consider a coordinated attack. Initially standing its ground, the camel devastated the wolves with deadly kicks, but once the wolves realized that they couldn't win, they started trying to exhaust the camel. The camel saw right through that, of course, and instead of playing their game, it decided to leave them behind and retreat, knowing that they didn't have the stamina to keep up with it. All that the wolves ended up getting out of this attempt was a few bone-crushing kicks, and the camel got to walk away victorious. Maternal courage faced off against predatory opportunity when two wolves attempted to separate a camel from its calf here. Despite their natural hunting advantage, the wolves found themselves repeatedly thwarted by the mother's fierce defensive charges. Each time the predators tried to circle closer to the vulnerable young camel, its mother launched aggressive counterattacks, keeping them at bay. The wolves' tactical attempts to divide mother and child met with violent resistance, the maternal camel's size and determination proving too intimidating for a direct assault. Though the wolves could have overpowered the calf if separated from its defender, the mother's relentless protection never gave them the opening they needed. Her aggressive responses kept the predators away until human authorities arrived on scene, their intervention finally forcing the wolves to abandon their hunt. Farms usually see a lot of conflicts between animals, and in this clip, we witness a battle between a camel and a cow that took place on a small farm. A dog's excited barking punctuated the tense scene as the two animals engaged in a shoving match, each testing the other's strength with head and neck. The territorial dispute intensified as both contestants refused to yield, their determined pushing match demonstrating surprising equality and strength. Other cows approached to spectate, but maintained a safe distance from the aggressive display. The standoff might have escalated further if not for peacekeeping intervention from another cow, which nudged its fighting companion away from the confrontation. This diplomatic interruption provided the fighting cow with the face-saving opportunity to disengage. The giant camel would have really hurt it if the fight had continued, and the cow's friend understood that perfectly. It's never a good idea to challenge a camel that's foaming at the mouth, but this horse went and did exactly that. The violent clash quickly turned one-sided when the camel's superior fighting technique left the horse pinned down and helpless. The initial brave exchange ended abruptly as the camel executed a devastating takedown, forcing its opponent to the ground. Despite desperate attempts to regain its footing, the horse found itself trapped under the camel's crushing weight. The camel's tactical advantage proved decisive as it maintained its full mass on top of the horse and immobilized its struggling opponent. Each of the horse's attempts to escape met with increased pressure from the camel, its resistance gradually weakening under the relentless compression. The camel's dominant position and overwhelming weight advantage left the horse no options, neither for counterattack nor escape. You should have run when you had the chance, buddy. This camel challenged a bigger opponent for a change, a towering giraffe, defying the obvious size difference. Despite its massive height advantage, the giraffe chose flight over fight when faced with the camel's aggressive pursuit. The giraffe's initial retreat seemed to end the confrontation, but the persistent camel resumed its chase, forcing the larger animal into a panicked run around their enclosure. This proves one thing, if any: camels don't just win their fights because of the size advantage. Even when they're faced with larger opponents, they still manage to force them to run. That's exactly why they're so feared. Bigger or smaller, they always crush whoever defies them. Playful provocation turned deadly serious when a Bactrian camel's teasing of a yak backfired here. The camel's initial biting harassment triggered a violent response when the yak countered with its lethal horns. The confrontation escalated as both animals engaged in a shoving match. And though the yak's natural weapons proved challenging, the camel was clever enough to not allow it to use them, locking one horn under its leg and keeping the yak stuck. The yak could have stabbed the camel to death if it hadn't done that, but camels are as smart as they are powerful, and this one knew exactly how to handle the deadly situation. Any other animal would have ended up bleeding on the ground. This one used its brains and got to walk away unscathed. This restrained donkey and a camel got into it pretty hard near a tree, with the donkey's leash preventing it from escaping. The donkey's initial attack, biting the camel's leg, backfired when the larger animal responded with overwhelming force. The camel's counterattack proved brutal, pinning the donkey and nearly crushing its skull against the ground. Though the smaller animal managed to regain its footing, their forced proximity due to the ropes led to repeated clashes, with the donkey launching defensive kicks while avoiding the camel's dangerous bites. A brief calm proved deceptive when the camel resumed its harassment, targeting the donkey's tail. Though initially attempting to avoid conflict, the donkey's patience crumbled under persistent provocation, but it couldn't do much against its clearly superior opponent. Terror struck when a Bactrian camel seized a small mule's neck in its powerful jaws here. turning a farm field into a scene of deadly struggle. The camel's lethal intent became clear as it maintained its crushing grip despite the mule's desperate cries for help. The victim's distress calls triggered an immediate response from another mule, though its individual intervention proved ineffective against the larger aggressor. However, this initial support sparked a broader reaction throughout the farm. Sensing their companion's peril, the farm's mule population gathered in collective defense. The gathering herd's show of solidarity finally convinced the camel to release its victim, as the camel clearly only had a problem with this particular mule and didn't intend to cause an all-out brawl between the camels and their smaller peers. Tourist amusement turned to panic when a pursuing camel proved faster and more determined than expected here. Initial laughter at the seemingly harmless chase died in their throats as the massive animal closed the gap with surprising speed. The camel's hostile intentions became clear as it rapidly gained ground, transforming the situation from entertaining photo opportunity to genuine threat. Nervous laughter mixed with frightened screams as the massive beast drew uncomfortably close to their vehicle. The driver's attempts to maintain safe distance forced increasingly faster speeds, yet the camel's persistent pursuit demonstrated shocking athletic ability. Their presumptions about slow, plodding desert animals shattered as the powerful creature matched their pace. Only by pushing the vehicle to higher speeds did they finally manage to outrun their determined pursuer, and thankfully, neither the camel nor the passengers were harmed. Did you enjoy this video? Please let us know in the comments section down below. And don't forget to leave us a like and subscribe to the channel while you're at it. And please, turn on your notifications bell to get notified when we upload a new video. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next one.